Hello, this is my presentation. I chose question number 5, which was compare and contrast the philosophies of Aristotle and Plato. So I did a prezi. The title of it is The Student Becomes the Teacher. I do have notes that I'm reading from, so if I don't read the slide verbatim, it's just because I'm kind of going back and forth between my notes, but I'm trying to tie everything together also. So the title of my presentation is The Student Becomes the Teacher, and it's by Amcmillan, which is me. So Plato. Plato learned a lot of his teachings from Greek philosopher Socrates. It's difficult to talk about Plato without mentioning Socrates. Plato followed Socrates because he never wrote anything down, and he was kind of his protege. Socrates was described to be a strange, homeless man, and Plato would be responsible for creating the foundation of philosophical thoughts. Plato was the first to ask many questions that philosophers would be obsessed with for the next, hundreds of thousands of years. So Plato's ethics can be described as virtue ethics. Virtue ethics is the reasoning of what is moral is determined by the person rather than by rules or consequences. Plato says the human soul is divided into 3 parts, which is reasons, spirit, and appetite. The reason is our thinking ability to judge. Our emotional ability to feel is the spirit, and our appetite is our desire. Aristotle. Aristotle took his teachings from Plato. So Plato was his teacher actually. He contributed to symbolic logic and scientific thinking. With all his knowledge and teachings from Plato, he really advanced the virtue ethics theory. So of course Aristotle was a Greek philosopher who contributed to the symbolic logic, and scientific theory. Aristotle was the first philosopher to seriously advance theories. Aristotle's work was lost in between centuries, so his work was never recovered, unlike Pluto's work was recovered. Some may describe Aristotle as the most important Greek philosopher from the 18th century. Aristotle studied at Plato's school until Plato died. That's how he was able to, continue the virtue ethics theory. Aristotle said that everything was made up of 5 elements, which was earth, fire, air, water, and ether. Aristotle didn't agree with Plato's theory of forms, which stated that the idealized essence of an object existed apart from the object. Aristotle thought the essence of an object existed with the thing itself. Okay, so I'll be reading this one verbatim. Both Plato and Aristotle were Greek philosophers. We got that. Both based their theories on 4 beliefs. So knowledge must be what is real, and knowledge must be what is fixed and unchanged. And then the world experience is what is real, and the world experience what is not fixed or changed. Which I kind of didn't get it, but like the more I read into it, or I guess my beliefs would be based off, some people live by knowledge is what I think, and then some people live off the world aspect as far as like what people think and what people do. So that's what I got. I may be wrong, but that's just how I took it. So it just says Aristotle did not want any, did not, I'm sorry, I always agree with Plato's theory. So he spent much time trying to make it better. Plato's theory is what is recognized by Greeks, and I say that because the research that I did said that people really don't recognize Aristotle as much as Plato. Like, they go by what Plato's theories were. And this is just the picture, Plato versus Aristotle. This is my discussion question to you guys, and it just says, based on the presentation, do you agree with the virtue ethics theory, which is, for today's America, which is slide number 3. Give it one example based on your answer. I do have a YouTube video in the next slide, but it wouldn't play for me. Maybe you guys might be lucky, but if it doesn't play again, you can just say feel free to go look at the YouTube and type A versus P and click on the third video. It's about 3 minutes long, and it's really like, it's animated, so it's kind of funny or whatever. And we'll see if it plays.